Welcome to the Imperial Brickz YouTube channel. It's Nixter here, and in this series, I've been collecting all of the characters or minifigures featured in LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga video game. In this episode, we'll be adding a new minifigure to the main display here, we'll be adding a new minifigure to the extra toggle display, and of course we'll be making some corrections to minifigures that are already a part of the collection. If you want to get a case like this one for your own minifigure collection, you can find a link in the description below. Before we get into the good stuff, we've gone through quite a few episodes of this series, and I just want to go back and do a little bit of a refresher for people who maybe are new here. With this collection, my goal is to collect all of the characters as they would have been made by LEGO, and unfortunately, LEGO only made so many of the characters that are a part of this collection, and so what I'm trying to do is find people who make custom figures that are pad printing on them and using injection molded custom parts. So for example, the boss Nass right here is not from LEGO, but he's got a pad printed torso and he's got an injection molded head. Now, funny enough, the character that we're going to be pulling out of the display to correct is actually Boss Nass himself. So let's go take a closer look. A couple of weeks ago, a lot of people were getting upset because I started to sell off some of the minifigures that were already a part of the LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga minifigure collection, and they didn't really believe my reasoning as to why I would do that. But a great example of a figure that isn't correct and that I kept in the display is Boss Nass right here. And the reason that he's not correct is because he's got a brown torso and it should be dark orange. So what do we have here? Well, none other than a dark orange torso. So don't worry, there is hope. You can still get parts, or I will still be getting parts for figures that are already part of the display if it's possible. And in this situation, it was. Shout out to Bodega Brick. I'm going to put his new name on the screen right now so you can see what it is because he just rebranded. Sorry that I can't remember that. But here is this beautiful pad printed Boss Nass torso in dark orange. And what we're going to do here is we're going to pull the head off of Boss Nass, which that wasn't too hard. And we're also going to pull the hands out of his arms. And now we can switch over the figure to the new torso. So here is the torso. Going to grab the cape as well. Might as well just use the Cristo one while we have it out here, I guess. Put that right there, that through here. Put the headpiece back on. And put the hands back into the arms. And voila. We have our now corrected Boss Nass minifigure for the TCS collection. The figure we get to add to the extra toggle display today is this guy right here. This is a Gungan Soldier, and believe it or not, this is an official LEGO minifigure. I want to say it came out in the kind of Gungan Army battle pack where you get the two Cadus, and the other minifigure included is Jar Jar. And I think one of them pulls like a little catapult or 1x1 round brick launcher. And yeah, so this is that Gungan. You can see he's got the standard Jar Jar head. We do have a nice print for the torso with even a little bit of metallic for that kind of gold outline that goes all around all the armor. Got a little bit of a white undershirt with a gray collar and some nice black printing all the way around. This one, for being a 1999 or 2000 year release for the set, has a really nicely lined up print going along the bottom of the torso, so not really anything to complain about. A lot of times when you have these older minifigures, you're going to get weird print marks and drops and smears, all kinds of stuff. So it's nice to see, refreshing to see a OG figure that has a really nice looking print. And there isn't too much else to say about this guy, except for that I'm excited to be able to add him to the collection. Now, continuing our incredible streak of adding Cristo 7108 minifigures to the collection, we have yet another one, and we're sticking with the Naboo theme for this episode, so let's pull this out backwards. We've got to get a little drum roll going here, and shit, that's the wrong character. All right, so we're keeping the streak going. This is probably the fourth at least episode in a row where we've added a Cristo minifigure to the main display. Always super exciting to be able to get your hands on one of these, and I hope to be able to get a couple more at least by the end of the year, but you know, we'll see how that goes. Not sure what Cristo's schedule is looking like. Anyway, I'm gonna get a drum roll before we pull this all the way out. This is number 57 out of 80, and it is Padme. Padme with the cape. I'm not sure. I can't remember what the official name for this Padme was. I want to say maybe Geonosis Padme. It's basically Padme before she gets captured on Geonosis when she's flying around with Anakin in episode 2. But let's go ahead and take her out of the case. And we're going to have to get the cape on her because Cristo did include the cape. The one thing, can't believe I'm saying this, but the one complaint I have about the Cristo minifigure cases is that it's ever so slightly too small to hold a cape. So when you get the cape in from Cristo, it's already like pre-bent. I don't know if you guys noticed that on the Boss Nass that I have right here has that same issue. The reason the cape has that little curve on the left side, same as this thing, it's because the case is too small. But anyway, that's a very minor detail, and eventually I'll probably end up switching out all the capes. Why? Because some of the Cristo ones aren't the same as the official ones that I have, and it would make sense to make them all uniform, but that's not a priority right now. So let's go ahead and pull Padme out of this bag, please. There we go. And we've got, of course, starting at the top, a custom hair mold. Always super cool to see this. You can see it's got the CBAM, Custom Bricks and Minifigs, as part of the mold. This was made in 2024, and just cool to see all that stuff there. Nice to know also that this isn't a painted hairpiece. You can see it is a little bit loose, but once it's in the display, it's going to stay where it's supposed to be. Gorgeous print for the face print. Obviously, everything is basically perfectly dialed in on every part of that. Same goes for the torso. You can see pretty even gap on both sides of the belt that goes around the bottom of her waist, and same deal on the back, and even a little bit of printing up at the top of the back of her collar. And yeah, that's basically it for this Padme. Let's go ahead and pull her hair and head off so we can get this cape on. And this cape in particular feels extremely stiff. It's a lot, it doesn't seem thicker than other capes that I've gotten from Cristo, but maybe it is. Kind of just a random thing to change. And you can see it's already just doing a little bit of a weird bend thing. That's also one of the reasons LEGO started to switch to those newer style of capes with only one hole, because you don't get this weird shift effect from having to fold the collar over itself on the top of the minifigure. But yeah, here is our other version of Episode 2 Padme. And really quickly, why don't we compare the two? So you've got here your before and after of Episode 2 Padme before she gets to the Geonosis arena. And of course, this one does have the scratches on the back and part of her back exposed, while this one does not. And of course, this one is missing the cape. So before we add stuff back to the main display, I wanted to come over to the extra toggle display to add our Gungan Soldier. But you'll notice that all of the LEGO Star Wars figs in this display are gone. And that's because LEGO Batman needed an official kind of setup because the series just wasn't getting enough love. If you haven't checked it out already, go check that out. Episode 7 should have just come out last week. And you can see that This doesn't even work either, but I'm kind of having issues with the company that I've been working with trying to get my hands on displays in the sizes that make sense. So we're going to be demoting all the TCS figs to the official Lego displays, and in another episode we'll put them all together into one and talk about the finalized way that we want to display all of the extra toggle figs. Just so you know though, I did not go and sell them all. They are all right here, all the droids, all of the figures, and I've got Jabba and the Kadu over on the TV console with the mini kits. Back over here at the main TCS display, we've got the Boss Nass minifigure, and he of course is going to go right next to, there we go, Captain Tarples. Beautiful. Looking a little bit even more vibrant with his lime green color and now the dark orange torso. And now we get to add the other episode 2 Padme to this spot right here. And you can see that this row is now one minifigure away. There she is, looking nice. This row is now one minifigure away. The Battle Padme right there, which has been announced by Christo, so it is possible that we complete that row by the end of this year. Again, I don't know what the timeline is on that. I might even have to reach out about that. But you can see, let's remove this guy right here. The display is looking very colorful, very full, and I think it's coming along very nicely. Stay tuned for more. We've got plenty of other figs on order to keep filling up the spots on this display and the extra toggle display. So if you enjoyed watching, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more, and go check out imperialbrickz.com for all your official LEGO Star Wars minifigure needs.